Welcome back to the Davinci Verse, where Davinci Resolve just continues to blow our minds. Today, goodbye Adobe, and hello Davinci Resolve 21. I say goodbye Adobe because Davinci Resolve 21 it now introduces photo editing. Oh my god. Which means I can now cancel my Lightroom and Photoshop subscription because I can actually import raw photos from my Sony cameras or any other cameras into Davinci Resolve and then utilize my power grades to color grade the photos. Oh my goodness. It's good. It's a very good day to be a Davinci Resolve user. It's just another day where more and more Adobe users will be switching to Davinci. Very incredibly crazy day. So what we're going to do today very quickly is we're going to go over all the new stuff just on the overview. And throughout this week, we'll go over one section at a time in depth throughout the YouTube tutorials. I'm going to show you how to install Davinci Resolve 21. If you come over to the Blackmagic design website, and if we go over to what's new, we have Davinci Resolve 21. And you can see here, we have free download now or buy online now. Now, if you already have Davinci Resolve Studio like I do, you don't need to click buy now online. What we're going to do is we're just going to come over to free download now. You'll see Davinci Resolve Studio 21, public beta. You're just going to press, if you're working on a Mac, press the Mac. If you're working on a Windows. And then if you don't have the studio version, you can simply download it from here. So you're just going to click one of these buttons. And when you click one of these buttons, going to download these files right here. You're going to open the zip file, and then you're just going to open this DMG file, which will come here. And then we're simply just going to come to install Davinci Resolve 21, verifying install Resolve 21. If you already have Davinci Resolve Studio installed, it should automatically update. Hopefully you won't have to input your activation code again. Bring this here, we're just going to press continue. I've read that, completed, continue, agree, install, my password, install, and then we're just going to wait for that to install. And as that is installing, let's go back onto Davinci Resolve 21. Davinci Resolve 21 introduces the photo page, bringing Hollywood's most advanced color tools to still photography. A new generation of AI tools performing de-aging, I've seen this a bit, blemish removal, and the edit and cut pages have just been improved for keyframing. The new things with the AI tools, of course, AI is becoming a great thing in the sense of it's speeding up our workflow, it's making our lives a little bit easier in the sense of being a service tool. Not a generative tool, but a service tool. And a support tool. So here we have search content with AI IntelliSearch. So you're basically going to come over to your media pool. You're going to search in your media pool, and if there's a face, you can type in face, and all the videos that have faces in, that's in your bin, will show up. Or if there's a camera, and that's mad. The next thing we have is advanced AI speech generator. So generative speech from written text using one of Blackmagic's voice models. So you can basically just generate speech. And I think there is a custom voice that you can create as well, which is pretty cool. The next thing we have is adjust focus with AI Cine Focus. Define the focal point of a shot with AI Cine Focus. Click to focus on a particular area of a scene and adjust the aperture and focal range to change the depth of field. Advanced controls let you select the aperture shape and add optical effects like bokeh. Very cool. This is pretty sick. I don't know if this is going to be to do with if everything's already in focus, then you can shift it, but if something's out of focus, can you bring that back into focus utilizing this? That'll be interesting to see. AI Face Age Transformer. So a really big thing in Hollywood these days is making a lot of older actors. A big one is in The Irishman, you had Robert De Niro, where they made him look a lot younger, utilizing a lot of CGI and VFX. But now we can basically do this within Davinci Resolve utilizing this new tool. So this will probably be just an FX tool that we can utilize in the color tab probably. So this is going to be a cool tutorial for sure. The next thing is AI Face Reshaper. So this, you can make like your eyes really big, your mouth really big. Before I used to if I was to make a really quirky edit of making your eyes bigger and stuff, I used to just use two dents and then I just used to bloat them up really big and then just track them. But here it identifies the face like the face tracking tool does. And then we can just adjust the size of them. I don't know when you'd want to adjust the size. Maybe you're trying to make someone look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, a little bit disfigured. So maybe this will be a cool tool in that sense. AI blemish removal. So this is kind of cool in the sense that with the current DaVinci tools to beautify skin, it's like it smooths out skin a fair amount, but this will just kind of blemish it out, but a lot of the texture will kind of stay where it is, which is pretty nice. Then we have sync with AI slate ID. So if you're someone who works in film production and you're utilizing slates for your takes, then DaVinci will be able to identify where the slate comes in, and then you can, it'll basically tell you where the clip actually starts. So you can go straight to that point or delete that slate part, etc. Extreme quality AI ultra sharpen. I wonder if this is very similar to Topaz in the sense that if you don't know what Topaz is an AI sharpening tool, and it can take like footage that's like 240p taken in the 1900s and upscale it to 4K and make it look like it was shot with a modern day camera. I don't know if it'll be that good, but I'm sure from what it says here before and after, this would be pretty cool. This might also be cool if it's, again, coming back to can it take blurred photos or out of focus imagery and sharpen it up a little bit and make it look like it's in focus. Then we have AI motion deblur. So, if you're shooting at 1/50th of a second, 24 FPS, if you're basically utilizing the 180 degrees shutter angle, you're going to get a lot of motion blur. And if there's a still that you'd like to take, maybe, and you want to remove some of the motion blur because it's a really nice still, and there's just a little bit of annoying motion blur, then you can probably just utilize this tool. What I really wish DaVinci did was actually I know there is a motion blur tool, but let's say you're shooting outside and you forget your ND, so now you're having to smack up that shutter speed. So then you're removing a lot of that motion blur. I wish there was an AI adding lovely motion blur that's going to be added. I think that's a really big thing, because if that got really good, that would be really helpful for things like utilizing the Osmo 360 camera, where there are no ND filters that can be utilized. So I can't shoot at utilizing a 180 degree shutter angle, therefore utilizing a blur, like a really nice, I know there is a motion blur, but it's not the best, a really nice like blur tool that's just a lot better than the model that's currently in DaVinci Resolve. Now this is crazy. I've seen a quick tutorial, and essentially what this is editing photos in DaVinci Resolve. I can drag in my raw photos from my Sony, from my Canon, from my Fujifilm, whatever it is, bring it into DaVinci Resolve, import it into a bin like you would do in a catalog in Lightroom, and then simply go in and adjust all the parameters utilizing a notary structure. So it's a bit more like Photoshop, I guess, rather than Lightroom in a sense. The only thing I'm interested in, the great thing about Photoshop and Lightroom, is the brush tool, that you can brush certain areas, whereas I don't know if in DaVinci Resolve, if it's solely exactly the same process as video, but you can edit your photos, then it would still be amazing. But just using a brush to do like dodge and burn on certain areas, rather than having to utilize masks and stuff, in terms of just like radial masks, curves, pen tool, etc., that would be amazing. So that's something we'll take a look at in the tutorial where we look at the new photo thing. So we have Hollywood grading tools for still photography, support for DaVinci Resolve color tools. So yeah, you have full access to DaVinci Resolve color tools that we normally utilize for all of our DaVinci Resolve tutorials. Utilizing a notary structure, which is amazing. That's if you're someone new moving from Lightroom to DaVinci, this will be a new workflow to utilize. But the beautiful thing about this is that you can take this skill set that you're going to learn from this. If you're a Lightroom user and you're still new to DaVinci Resolve, you can take that skill and then apply it to video. And then you have that same ecosystem and you're not having to relearn something new essentially. Cropping and reframing. The photo page lets you reform images at the original source resolution, and aspect ratio. Every adjustment preserves the full quality of your image. Just cropping, I guess. Lightbox view, which is nice, just a viewing thing. Organize images in albums, which is cool. Instantly search. So again, this is like the AI search thing above, I guess, where it can identify certain parts, certain things within an image. A camera example they've said road, direct image capture. So what is this? Camera controls let you tether a Sony or Canon camera directly to Davinci Resolve for live image action. The reason why I'm laughing about this is because if you've ever worked on a photo studio set, like I have, the laptop will always be tethered. You'll see this lovely orange wire that's tethered from the camera to the laptop. And then you can see, if you're working, especially with editorial stuff for fashion campaigns and stuff like this, it's really good for not only yourself, but for your client to see straight away what the image kind of looks like. And you can see that on your laptop when you're taking a photo. So that's fantastic. That's like, what is it? Capture One? Camera One, Capture One, I can't remember what it is, but it's very cool. Full Resolve FX support, so you can utilize all your LUTs, your power grades, which is absolutely wonderful. Makes our life easier. We can utilize all of our Vault power grades, our Digifilm power grades, which is nice. Then we have DaVinci AI toolset, so you can utilize the AI stuff as well. The face features, the cinematic haze that we love. Here it says the depth map it as well, which is really nice. The Blackmagic Cloud collaboration, that's pretty cool. In the sense that obviously I've used collaboration for shooting a documentary for the Faroe Islands, and I used it with my producer on the actual project to kind of work alongside him to edit the video. And it's actually really helpful when you're working in 2 different locations, and then after a project, it's really helpful, and it allowed us to actually edit and get the project completed a lot faster. So doing that with photos, absolutely fantastic. Cut and edit. So that's the photo page. There was nothing about a brush tool, so that'll be interesting maybe for a future update. If the Blackmagic team is watching, they probably aren't, but brush tool in the photo tab would completely like negate Lightroom and Photoshop, because I think that's one of the main things that I'm thinking of now that is still making Lightroom a little bit better than DaVinci Resolve in the sense solely for photos. So that's my only thing in that sense. So the next thing we have is cut and edit. I don't utilize the cut page, but I do use the edit page. So doing keyframe adjustments in DaVinci Resolve is actually quite annoying, especially when you're wanting to do speed ramps. That's where Premiere Pro is still king, in the sense that when it comes to speed ramping, like, it's so much better, and it just makes more sense in the way that Premiere Pro does it. Hopefully, maybe this has improved. They have been improving it, and the thing I love about DaVinci Resolve, about Blackmagic, is that they listen to us. They see what's wrong, and then they improve it, which is amazing. So then we have improved text plus. This has always been annoying. You can now enable multi-language spell check for all text elements, preview fonts. The annoying thing about Text Plus has been the fact that with the normal text, you can select, like, if I have a sentence that says the ant walks, I can select ant and then change that to a different color to the walks. But in this case, with the Text Plus, I can't do that. But I can add fusion effects to that one. I can't add fusion effects to the text. So you have like some things that are good for the text, some things that are good for the Text Plus. So I'm glad they've finally allowed you to hopefully adjust in character level certain aspects of your text, which is really nice. HTML graphics and Lottie support. I have no idea what that is. Smart bin views in cut page, I don't really care about that too much. Then the color tab, this is very important as well. So multi-master trim manager, that sounds meaty. The multi-master trim manager allows you to generate multiple HDR and SDR trim deliverables from a single timeline. When enabled, the node editor will display additional layers for trim operations, allowing you to color manage. I don't understand that. My brain is too small to understand that. Maybe when I have a mess with it and see what it does, it'll make some sense. Magic Mask render in place. Yes, thank you, DaVinci Resolve. The problem with the Magic Mask is it improved so much, and I'm so happy for it. But because initially when the Magic Mask was involved, as soon as you made an adjustment of the node before the Magic Mask, it would reset your Magic Mask. It would just completely negate it. Then DaVinci Resolve created AI Magic Mask 2, and it fix that issue basically, which is amazing. Which means if I made an adjustment on my magic mask, then I went back to a previous node and I made an adjustment, it would work. But here, what it does is it bakes in your magic mask. So if I was to then move my clip or change the sizing or stuff like that, the magic mask isn't going to reset. Because even if I move the clip in the timeline, the magic mask resets, and it's annoying. So this is wonderful, especially if you're utilizing things like doing heavy grades and stuff like that. It's just annoying to like retrack it. It's just so time consuming. So that's good. Layer list view in node editor. You can now change the color page node editor to layer views. Nodes are listed in rows according to the number in the node graph. This is like Photoshop layers. Very cool. Again, if you're moving from Photoshop or Lightroom, this will be quite intuitive. You can utilize this viewing rather than utilize a node tree. I wonder how this would work with parallel nodes and layer mixer nodes, but in terms of a serial node tree fashion, this would be pretty cool. Group color grade versions. When using groups in Davinci Resolve 21, you can now create and manage multiple grade versions. Right click and add a new version to change the group version of pre-clip and post-clip node graphs. This affects all clips in the group uniformly. Remove clips for individual grading. Cool. I need to look into this. Again, my brain can't. I've been shooting all day. My brain can't comprehend this at the moment. It's a lot of words. Fusion. I'm still very new to Fusion. I can do a few things. I can add a transform node and increase and rotate and stuff like that, and add a planar tracker. But apart from that, not too much. So Fusion, there's a VFX library. Ooh, Premiere Pro has it, where there's like already templates, and you can kind of then utilize them, input, like just change the text and stuff, and you've got your new template. You see those old like music videos or whatever it is, it's just audio, and then you have like the sound waves moving to the voice or the track or whatever it is. I think it's similar to that, but it's kind of creates animation that you can create for that. Pretty cool. Fairlights. I suck at sound. I suck so bad at sound. So I probably won't understand any of this. Manage audio tracks and folders. 6-band clip EQ. I don't know. I'm a color guy. EQ and level matcher. Chain effects. If you have a favorite group of plugins that you need to apply together, you can now build. I don't know. I don't get it. Next generation engineering. Davinci Resolve features some of the most cutting-edge technology in the industry today. Davinci Resolve AI Neural Engine is an advanced machine learning system powering many of the software's most powerful tools, and is fully supported in Apple's M series and Snapdragon X Elite. The inclusion of the latest version of Dolby Vision means you can view HDR on supported monitors, including laptops. I don't need to read any of this. Plus, Davinci Resolve is the only software that you can use to edit, grade 8K footage in real time. Pretty cool. Main concept H.265 and MVHEVC encoding. So new encoding for rendering, which is pretty cool. Then we have more support for 180 and 360. And panomap immersion rotation. I think a lot of this is just old stuff, but they're trying to show new people, content creators, that it has all of this stuff. So yes, there we have this. Then we can come back into our Davinci Resolve, close it, move this to the bin, and we can finally open our Davinci Resolve. I'm very excited, incredibly excited. And I'm so happy that, the reason why I began utilizing Davinci Resolve to begin with, because I couldn't afford Premiere Pro, After Effects at university. And Davinci Resolve at that time was completely free. And I utilized free Davinci Resolve for so many years. So you're just going to get a screen, just press continue. It showed up on my other screen that you probably saw here. Davinci Resolve Studio 21 Public Beta. But then yeah, Davinci Resolve was free. And the beauty about Davinci Resolve is that the free version, you can do almost everything on it. You know, if you're just like shooting stuff on your phone or just some normal camera, nothing too crazy, and you're just beginning and starting out, almost everything you can do. The reason you get Studio is it's a little bit faster in terms of the processing, and you just get a lot more play with what you can do, which means that you can have a lot more control over your image and you can utilize some really funky and useful effects. But yeah, Davinci Resolve Studio 21 in the next tutorial, which I will upload tomorrow, I promise to you. We'll start off probably with the photo page, and then we'll look at all the new stuff that's now been introduced. So yes, long video, but exciting video. I'm very excited. Hope you're excited. Davinci Resolve for the win.